Squeeze your
And
legs.
you look at me now, press down, remember, yeah, okay, you got it. Yeah, welcome back to Marla Health and Yoga. Today we are going to be working on some acro movements. You've already seen our introduction to acro, and we invite you to check the link below to get a reference to that in case you haven't gotten to see that. Go.
Yeah. So this video we are going to teach a sequence of half leaf into bird and then moving into bow. Amanda is going to fly and Brandon's going to base and I'm going to be the spotter. So
Thanks for joining us. Here we go.
So we're coming right back to where we were. Yep, hands down next to my ears, my toes are turned out, my thumbs are in. We'll take a deep inhale, and on the exhale, I push up. So this is what we kind of consider loose leaf. She's going to take one hand, she's going to push into one shoulder and then move to the other hand here, and then she's going to push up like a push-up. There we go. Both of our arms are straight and locked out. My toes now from this point turn from toes out to toes in. My feet are about parallel, if not just a little toes in. Kind of my toes are facing toward her belly button. From here, the flyer kind of squeezes the legs together and lifts the legs and lifts the chest, and that takes a lightness in the hands, and she's able to bring her hands back behind her back.
and this is free bird. And I don't even need to have my hands on her. They're more of like a safety thing to make her feel comfortable. I like very close spotting whenever I'm flying because it makes me feel more safe.
Sometimes people aren't necessarily able to straighten their legs all the way, and they find that like the legs are bent or the hips are up. In this case, we'll take hands again. Quick. We'll come down. And if that's the case, I'm going to take a blanket or some sort of cushion, and I'll put it underneath my tailbone, not under my lower back, but under the tailbone. And that's going to help lift the tailbone so it sort of decreases the severity of the angle of the legs and the hips. So from there, we can come right back into it. And let's start with hands. And when we take hands, we're going to say flyer fingers in. Flyer, or base's hands like a W, flyer's hands like an H. We never want to interlace fingers. So we'll come in, 1, 2, 3, and push up. So there's a bird mount. Same things. I push with my toes a little bit. She squeezes her legs together. She rolls her shoulders back. She reaches her fingers to the backs of her legs.
So because this is a little more challenging pose, it's a good idea to have two spotters. So I'm going to be protecting the front of Amanda, and Molly's going to be taking care of the sides. We're getting into a little more vulnerable position. So as safe acro yogis, we want to make sure that our spotters are there to keep our flyers protected.
Especially if it's their first time flying.
Yes, and this is Amanda's first time ever doing this. So say hello, Amanda. Tell them that you feel safe and secure.
Okay, so now we're going to go into bow, and Amanda is going to reach back and grab one of her feet, and I'm going to help her do this. She's going to put her hands on the outside of her foot, which you can see better once she does it on this side. Good. So you can see the hands are on the outside.
And so Amanda's got this held very nicely, and so I'm going to ask Molly to keep her very safe here for just a moment. I'm going to grab a strap.
Through that, I have to give a little bit more toe. I negotiate that as the weight distribution changes. So we say more toe and it's more gas pedal. I'm extending through my ankle.
So if you have a flyer who cannot get a hold of their ankles, I'm going to give her a strap. And she can hold the strap and still get into the pose. So this would help her to warm up a little bit differently. Then she's going to release the strap, and we're going to slowly release the legs, not just going out of that. That would throw the base off. Then her base is going to, yeah, there we go. And there she is. She made it safe and sound. First time as a from bird to bow for Amanda. So great job. Thanks for joining us. You did it! I didn't fall.